other audio on.
Okay.
And now at the bottom, window capture. Click on that window. Move down. Yep. Ba-ba! No.
Sorry guys, we're learning this morning. First thing. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Nothing, I just...
Why different?
You want everybody to be able to see your tabs? Oh. Okay.
There you go.
I got some smooth coffee jazz going. Good morning, good morning. We have an image, no sound. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
They should.
Yeah. Scroll this down just a smidge so that we can see that. There we go. Hello, Pearl Blue. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. We are here to talk about stars. We will do some art. And then, like I said in the group chat in Discord, I wanted to try a thing together later. But it is not tarot. That is on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, done by Miss May. I am not the resident tarot expert. I tend to want to yell at them too much. Good morning. Come hang out, have a coffee with me if it's early for you. Have a coffee with me if it's late for you and it will not affect you to your detriment. And let's go. How's life going? How's everybody's weekend been? What's happening? What we got? How was that full moon on the 1st? I know for me with a very, very poor, well not poor, but notoriously difficult moon placement, also in Scorpio, I was fine. I heard somebody say, yeah, those with a lot of scorpionic places, they're fine. So, Miss May is a Scorpio rising and Scorpio Pluto with me, and we were fine. Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to get everything organized. Outside right now, beautiful weather. Very good. It's cold here, so you should send me pictures later. You have a picture of a pretty moon? Excellent.
That's pretty moon pictures.
Yes, put your moon pictures in there. Also, hello everybody. I saw some familiar tarot faces. I know that some of you may be here for tarot and have a mistake, but you are welcome to hang out with me, and we can talk about stars all together. I have my coffee ready. You have your beverage of choice ready, be it coffee, tea, water, hydrate, or dihydrate. And then, let's see.
Just so that the audio doesn't end.
Okay. Ah, okay. Your research project? Okay. That's good. What are you researching, Majid? The cat has stolen Miss May's seat. Good morning, Trey. Good to see you. Let's see what... We've got our screen shared, so I can't do my dice rolling trick just yet, so Sen, don't let me forget. Came to drop by for a little... Ooh, brunch! You going somewhere good, Pearl? I will give you the truncated version if you are about to head out. This week should be, after this full moon, fairly calm. The first half of May, I think we're getting a bit of a break. We still have a few things left in Aries, but we are acclimating to them. And or they will be there for a while yet. And I feel like this is just kind of a calm after slogging through this bad boy right here, which is Uranus getting into Gemini. Designing for a front-end circuit for EEG systems. That's so cool.
That's so cool.
Wow. Good luck with the research, yeah. Good luck with the research, Majid. Keep us posted. That's really neat. Just eating with family at a new place. Alright, well, let us know on Monday when you come over for tarot or something how it was. I do love a good brunch spot. Anyway, so I think we're getting a bit of a break after all of the shenanigans that was, the Scorpio full moon could have been pretty intense for some people. The Uranus shifting into Gemini action that was, what, a week and a half ago now? That could have been pretty heavy for some people. You'll notice, where is it? We have Uranus now in Gemini. We have Pluto up here in Aquarius. And we have, who is the other one? Oh yeah, Saturn and Neptune both are in Aries. So a lot of our long-term babies have shifted into fire and air. Next month, Jupiter will join them. I'll never forget about dice segments. Wonderful. Part of your PhD. That's so cool, Majid. Hello, Sprogs and Springs. Hello. Hey, Story. I was just cracking into the astrology for today. It should be fairly short, I'm expecting. There's a refreshing amount of not a lot going on this week. There's a few things, so we'll talk about it, but otherwise it should be business as usual, at least per the stars. So, after that we're going to do our obligatory dice roll. I wanted to play a game with everybody, so think of questions you can ask me, and then we will do some art. So, have your coffee, have your beverage of choice, settle in. We had our full moon on the 1st. That was in Scorpio. That was the heavy hitter for the start of this month. With it could have come up a lot of like really deep emotions, especially if you don't have any like heavy Scorpio placements. As I was saying, I read somewhere that those with pretty prominent Scorpionic placements, like inner planets and such, those with those placements might not have felt it quite so much because it's feelings that we're used to. But for those who are less familiar with these feelings of deep emotional intensity, as it were, it could have been a little uncomfortable. So, remember Scorpio moons, I think of the phrase still waters run deep. Some people think of a swamp. Either way, it's a very quiet on the surface, but churning underneath kind of feeling. And yeah, it's on the Scorpio-Taurus axis, so there is the push between collecting and gathering things to make you abundant, a la Taurus, and purging and releasing and rebirth, a la Scorpio. So that could have been hard for some people. Or it could have just kind of made you have a revelation of, oh, I don't need this anymore, or actually I do need this, like for your own kind of betterment. So, that was the full moon. It seems like we've all survived it. I hope that we have. Feel free to rant if you need to. Happy to just let you get it out, because I know that Scorpio moons are hard. So, hello, monster. Good to see you. We are talking about the astrology for the week. I have a game for us to play afterwards, and then we will do some art. Oh, son. Yesterday, we had Mercury go into Taurus. He'll be there for about 3 weeks. You can see this little buddy right here, at present, is at 47 minutes of the 0 degree. Now Taurus brings Mercury kind of down to earth, which we need after all of that Aries energy. It helps our mind be a little less scattered. and Taurus encourages Mercury to stay present and intuitive instead of hypothetical. So Taurus wants you to feel things and piece together, the puzzle through what you're feeling, like experiencing, instead of just musing on well, if this happens, then Y obviously will happen. Communication is more deliberate, more thoughtful. You can think of Taurus, a very steady wins the race kind of attitude. And you may, common sense and practical application of knowledge is more prevalent, and you may fall back on the more tried and true methods over innovation. Now, this is only going to be for like 3 weeks, no retrogrades. He doesn't go retrograde again until he gets into Cancer. But this is just kind of like helping you slow down, kind of getting your feet back on the ground after the chaos that was the Aries stellium. With Mercury and Taurus, you want to watch out to not get too stubborn, but it is a good time for more of that defragging that I can, like I told you about earlier with the sun going into Taurus, just kind of like decluttering, like picking up the pieces that you actually want to work on and discarding what you don't, things like that kind of thing. Like whatever you had revelations about while we had the Aries superstellium, you can go, well, this will work, that won't work, this will work. Now if I want to do this, how do I do it? Taurus is very good for like sitting there and figuring it out. You can also, find real steps to the lofty goals that you created. This placement should ideally help you with some think before you speak perspective that you need before we hit our couple of rough patches this week. There's room for frustration. There's room for a little bit of nitpicking and overcriticality. So we'll want to like step back and, remember to mind what we say. I've told everybody before, but I'll tell you again in case you haven't heard it before. One of the adages I grew up with is it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So if you're having a conversation and you start feeling yourself get hot, you don't have to respond immediately. You are not your first thought. You can take a second and you can piece together a much less, inflammatory second thought that still says what you need to. There may be a couple of periods in this week that you might need to do that. Now, so that was yesterday. There's nothing really going on today that is new. We have the moon right now making a nice trine to Neptune, very dreamy. It will only last for a couple of hours. The moon is a speedster. We have that Mars squared Jupiter that we've been talking about for a while. It's not quite... Well, it does say that it's exact, but it's still forming. It's tight right now. You're starting to feel this. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Oh, thank you. Hooray, head pats. I wonder if it doesn't... If my head isn't getting pat and you want it to, I can harass May to make it turn on.
It should have worked. Please let me put it.
Okay, she says that it should have worked. Please let her know if it didn't. I can't see it right now. Anyway, so we have a forming square with Jupiter and Mars right here. This is for better or for worse. This is where some of the hot-headedness might come in, but it can also be good. That is tomorrow, the 4th, which I will say may the 4th be with you to all who celebrate. Mars square Jupiter, we'll be feeling this a couple of... It did, okay, Chase saw it, okay. If it lingers or if it gets stuck with the head pats, let us know that too. Mars squaring Jupiter. Jupiter is one of like the great benefic, so like he doesn't really... He tries very hard to not cause too many problems. Where he causes problems is in causing too much of things. You'll feel it for a few days on either side, which you can see right here. We're already feeling it a little bit. If we go to tomorrow, it's going to load. I'm not a robot, theoretically. I'm a stuffed animal. So clearly it should. I could be a robot underneath there. I'm not a human, I am a stuffed animal, but we're going to pretend. Alright. Now, you can see it has gone exact by this time tomorrow. We are at 19 degrees and 19 degrees. Mars in Aries versus Jupiter in Cancer, squaring off. You might feel like you need to prove something, and Jupiter may make you want to over-compromise. Your little Taurus lady is 10. Happy birthday, darling.
Happy birthday!
That's so good. Give her Benny Scritches for me, and possibly a treat. As you will permit it, Che. With this square, Mars wants to do a lot, especially in Aries. He's all fired up, quite literally. And Jupiter likes to say yes. This is his problem, is he doesn't really know how to say no. Mars is coming off of the Scorpio full moon. Scorpio is co-ruled by Mars and Pluto. So whatever you've been feeling frustrated with being stuck on, especially like in regards to that full moon, this aspect can affect it in particular. Leverage it though. You can use it for good. Squares, there's quote good aspects and quote bad aspects, but there are bad and good sides to all of this. Squares are something to work through, but they are a good source of energy when you work through the tension. So if you work through the tension, you can leverage the square to make an elevator pitch, you can show off a skill, or fight for a cause that you believe in. Right? It also gives you some endurance, but especially later on in the week, you'll get more endurance. Hopefully that will help with PhD projects and what have you later on. We'll talk about that in a minute. But if you don't approach this square with a plan, it can scatter you. You could stretch yourself too thin, or make you, just in general, do too much or promise to do too much. And as a result, you get like one step in on all of your projects and it looks like you haven't done anything, right? So with this kind of square, if you don't balance it, impulse and reality can butt heads a little bit. Mercury is squaring Pluto too around this time. It's not exact just yet, but Mercury is here. Pluto is up here, and they're gonna start, you can see this little thin red line right there. It's starting to form that square. And when these are all activated together, it'll just kind of blur the line a little bit more too. With Jupiter in Cancer, quote, emotional spending, comfort eating, and I deserve it choices can spike, especially if you're stressed or trying to prove that you're fine. So Mars is telling you, I want to get something done. And Jupiter's like, yeah, let's get something done. And then if you don't get anything, or if you feel like you don't get anything done, which let's be real, with Mars being Mars, you probably are, but it might not be going fast enough for you. You can get frustrated. You can want to overspend. You can get emotional. Cancer is ruled by the moon. The moon is the, the feminine, the emotionality of things, just your feelings. You can get deep into your feelings. And so if you're not making the progress that Mars wants you to see, you can get frustrated and kind of overspend or overindulge a little bit too much. So set a budget for the week. Maybe have a little bit of room for a little treat or two, but just be mindful not to go overboard. With that frustration, it can cause some arguments about, just means and what you have and what you want to have and what you want to work towards. And then the square that follows, the 5th into the 6th. So this is the new one. This will be on the 5th. This is Pluto and Mercury. Now Mercury moves pretty quickly, so it should only last for like a day or two on either side of it. But you can still see this connection even though it's not exact quite anymore. Mars is moving ahead. This square will break off. You'll still be feeling it for another couple of days. So with Mercury square Pluto, a 1-2 day stretch on either side of it. Your Taurus Mercury will want steady plans and a just kind of have a just the facts ma'am kind of attitude about things. And Aquarius Pluto wants you to dig into the feelings, and the deeper, the harder to articulate truths around Aquarian themes. So I affectionately call Aquarius the social justice warrior of the chart. He cares about the collective. He is the wateriest of all of the air signs, so he does have the high intellectualism of the air signs, but also there is an element of emotionality and wanting to do the best for everybody to him as well. So connecting with Taurus, which is much more, not in a bad way necessarily, but a bit more I'm going to take care of myself. They can kind of, butt heads on there too, right? Conversations can cut to the chase. Pluto does not really care for small talk. So choose your words tactfully and be specific with those words to keep there from being miscommunications. There's a high chance that if you speak before you think, you will be misunderstood. Especially since we are still feeling this Mars activated with this square, right? This is you can bite off more than you can chew. You can say things that you don't mean to say. You can do too much. You can say too much. Now with this square here, if you start having those fights, it could start about something small, like you could start about something small like, oh, you didn't wash the dishes last night, and it could just spiral into you never do anything for me, right? Like it could spiral into a deeper issue that needs to be addressed, but perhaps not right then, and or needs to be addressed more tactfully, slowly, gently. I don't know. But you get what I mean. So conversations can cut to the chase. Choose your words carefully. Arguments can start, this is where I said arguments can start with something small and gradually just work to expose a deeper issue that may have been otherwise avoided. We emphasize communication around these parts, like communicate your issues, but yeah, just in a screaming match might not be the best place. Words can be sharper and thinking can get obsessive with this square. We are talking about the Mercury and Pluto square. It feels a little bit Sherlock Holmesy. You may want to get to the bottom of something. So it's really good for research, like we were talking about. It's really good for like figuring out like how to put into words these feelings that you're having. Mercury is in charge of communication and such. Pluto like raises things to the ground and identifies really deep problems, like very internal work. But the shadow side can cause power plays. You can become overly critical. You can be impatient, especially considering right now Pluto is at a bit of a standstill on May the 5th, because on the 6th he begins going retrograde. So right now, because you can't like physically stop on a dime, he has slowed down, which may have been its own source of some tensions, and starting on the 6th he will begin going backwards. But for now, he's just at a standstill. Kind of makes it all worse. The shadow side of all of this can cause power plays. Yep, we did this. Pluto's at a standstill. The positive side with this thing is there's a lot of mental stamina. It is good for figuring out a way to do something if you get stuck in a hurry up and wait kind of situation. So if you're waiting on somebody to do something and you've done everything you can do on it, maybe you can like watch your words, check in with them, and or find something else to work on the side while you are waiting on them. It's good for mental stamina. So if there's projects that you've been needing to do, or like just intellectual tasks that you needed to work on this week, should be pretty good for working on those. Now, our big topic this week is this little fella right here. You can see right here in the chart, well, it says stationary, so it means he's still standing still, but he's about to start going retrograde. You can see by the 7th he's gone retrograde. So what this means, he will be in retrograde from the 6th of May, the 6th, 7th of May, depending on where you are, and he will be there until the 15th of October. He will be going from 5 degrees and some change back to 3 degrees and some change. And if you're going, golly, Lynn, that's really slow, remember that Pluto will be in Aquarius until 2043. He is the slowest planet. So we are taking baby steps. There is a pretty big conjunction that Pluto should be making while he's in Aquarius to my chart. It's not going to happen until 2031. And that's for something that's at 13 degrees, so very slow. So while he's stationary on the 5th, the 6th, things may honestly feel a little bit rougher than it is when he actually starts going backwards. You might feel heavy or confused. Problems might feel like they're worse than what they actually are. So what Pluto does when he goes retrograde is shifts folks' attention from the outer back to the inner. There's a few placements that do this, but Pluto is one of them too. So what it will do is kind of like help the collective take a second to breathe. And like identify things and talk, like figure things out within themselves. This will be the first planet in retrograde for about a month, 6 weeks, a handful of change. It's been the only time this year that there hasn't been anything in retrograde. Has been a good time to get things started, but also a lot has been happening without people seeming to think about it at all. So Pluto will help shift folks' attention back from the outer into the inner, at least to a point. And it will help us work on our inner lives and transformation again, like our personal inner transformation. In Aquarius, collectively, he wants us to think of ways to uplift both ourselves and our communities. So again, remember, I call him the social justice warrior of the chart. He wants you to help the people around you as well. Where have you been reduced to ashes and are ready to be reborn? Especially in the Aquarius part of your chart where he is right now. Or if there's any transits or aspects that he's been making while he's here. What aspects has Pluto been making elsewhere? Yep, in your chart and shaken down. So what he's wanting you to do is to sift through the ashes that of all of the destruction and find like the phoenix eggs. Right? Like, because that is what Pluto represents as death and rebirth, right? So you find the egg and all of this ash, and you raise it, you incubate it, the egg hatches, bada bing, bada boom, you got yourself a phoenix, you have risen again, right? You have done the rebirth. Any aspects that may have been made to your natal chart as he has been direct may continue to be like chewed on and processed, but hopefully there won't be anything like a new huge revelation about it. It will be the same things. It's just your time to actually process what has happened to you rather than having things happen to you. The focus, happening, falling into place, and you realizing where things need to change. Pluto likes to help you with your own personal power and how you use it. He wants you to identify fears holding you back from your own personal empowerment and work on working through them. He wants you to find moments where you can, quote, fully embrace your strength and also help you work on the difference between assertiveness and being overbearing. He wants you to learn where you could use your power for good or, discord, bad, evil. Don't do that, right? And he wants you to ask if you are actually own your power or if you are letting it getting taken away from you or using it for the best of others and not yourself. Huh? Yeah. May back here just says where you own your power versus where are you renting your power out. We don't want to do that. We want to own our power, right? So those are honestly the big 3 things happening, and we just get a minute to kind of breathe. Like, this is these don't... The Lilith and Venus thing might be something. I'd have to do more research into it. But the moon be moonin'. Back my foot to pull the cord out from under the table. Okay, what is your question, my dear? Hit me. We can look at it. As we're basically at the end, I can try to help with questions. A reminder to all, I am still learning, so we will be learning together. But I am happy to help where I can. So what have you got for me, sugar? I'm just looking through the rest of the week to see if it's nothing with the moon. Oh, yeah. I mean, at least flag it, and then if we can't talk about it here, then you can email me or something, or we'll figure it out. No, just Lilith and Venus. Let's look up Lilith and Venus opposite then. We're gonna have a bit of a class. We're gonna have a bit of standard puritanical feminine butting heads against dark mystery feminine. Let's see. Lilith at Venus transit. Let's see. Nope, not native. What day is this? Some placements are going to be more difficult than others. However, this does not mean that you are given more of a challenge than what you are able to carry. We have Sagittarius and Gemini. Okay, Lilith, Sag. Venus and Gemini. That's birth chart, but Venus and Sag, so Lilith and Sagittarius is going to be like rebellion and redemption, not redemption, but like rage against the machine is kind of the feeling that I'm getting, that band in particular. Oh, okay, I'd love to understand a bit more about those placements, why they might be blamed for having a Seki chart, and how I can understand what it is, which has been impacting my lived experience. Okay, so some placements have a bad reputation. I can't remember your chart right off the top of my head. I remember a little bit about it, right? Because I've looked at it. But, ooh, stretch. Shrimp trick, guys. But there are some placements that get a bad reputation, usually having to do with Saturn and Pluto in particular. Mars also. Mars is like the minor malefic, so he's the minor villain. Saturn is known as the greater malefic, so it's the bigger villain, and Pluto just comes into things with a wrecking ball. And usually when these guys are making harsh aspects to things, they are known to cause problems when they are not managed. Take care, story. The sound is flicking in and out. I could be the cord. So have a good brunch, Pearl. We will see you at tarot. If the sound is flicking in and out for other people, let me know. I did kick the cord out earlier because I fidget. Gemini rising. Okay. So usually when those planets are making harsh aspects, or if things are in retrograde, people tend to freak out until they learn the deeper meaning of them. Now, they're not going to be necessarily the easiest placements, but it's kind of like a bit of a pressure cooker to make a diamond, right? So that's your general overview. For example, we'll use my chart as the example. I have possibly one of the most notorious placements, and that is a moon conjunct Pluto, which means like my Pluto and my moon are sitting right on top of each other. This is a blending of energies between the two planets, and my Pluto is in Scorpio. So Scorpio moons already have a bad rap with the still waters run deep. They are notorious for the shadowier aspect of them are like, you know, just pardon the French, but the only thing I could think of is like a catty bitch who's always out for revenge on kind of things, right? Like they're just like angry all the time, like resentful about everything. Like it's just a bad rap, right? Add Pluto to the mix, that just makes it more intense. Now, on top of that moon placement, it is also the center figure, as in the point of resolution on my chart for a couple of T-squares. So I have to figure out how to use my overly volatile emotions to get things done, instead of learning just how to manage them and get on with my life. So it's a rough placement, right? It's difficult, but it's not bad. So yeah, a couple of karmic points. Oh yeah, yours are in the intercepted houses. And again, like I told you, Story, like I am ambivalent on intercepted houses. Like I like to look at them for consideration. But if you use the whole house system, intercepted houses aren't always a thing. Just like the Placidus. With those, you just kind of have to be a little more deliberate, right? You have to be a little more aware. Karmic points, yes. This is something that I would suggest you just kind of be mindful of, and if you're not aware of it, then what happens with impacted houses or intercepted houses is that they tend to manifest themselves in their shadow side. When there are planets transiting, they're accessible. They are accessible to you. It just takes a little extra effort. And you might have to channel the energies of the planets that rule your repeating houses to do so, and it might not always be the best. So it's not necessarily a, quote, bad placement, unquote, but it is something that you have to work on. Disobeying the astrology affects our activities harshly. One of my favorite interpretations that I saw recently was don't always, like, it's good to know your astrology chart. It's good to know what's going on in the stars. It's good to use it as like a checkpoint of like, oh, well, this is opposing this, so I probably should keep my mouth shut or think about what I say before I do it, or, oh, it's a really good time for an elevator pitch, or oh, it's a really good time to start a new project, or oh, this is time for reflection and stuff. So it's good to like keep up with the cycles like that. But as far as your astrology chart, it's good to be aware, like your birth chart, it's good to be aware of where you might have your pitfalls. But I wouldn't use it so much as a end-all be-all. It is a roadmap, but it is a roadmap with many, many different opportunities and, detours and what have you. Because no one, even if someone was born at the same time in the same place as you were, like, they're still not going to have quite the right or the same chart. Or if they did, they could channel it in completely different ways. So don't let it stop you from channeling yourself how you feel like you're channeling it, because odds are how you are channeling it will just be leveraging different aspects and or different facets to an aspect, like different sides of an aspect, than somebody else would choose. Now, if you go into the dark side, you'll have all of the shadow aspects showing, and then yes, karma might come back and bite you a bit, right? But if you're aware of like your strengths and weaknesses, just kind of keep going. Yeah, it's good to know. It's not going to be, the end-all be-all. Now, Saturn and Pluto, if you're in a bad point with them, they will put you in your place. But if you go, oh, why is it so hard right now? And you look at your chart and go, oh, well, I'm kind of going against this. You could rectify it pretty easy. You can fix it pretty easy. So there's nothing, at least in Western astrology. In Vedic astrology, I think it's a little different. I think they want you to be afraid of certain things. But at least in the Western astrology that I have learned, there's nothing really inherently scary about any of this. It's just some placements, some aspects are more difficult than others. And yes, they will push back on you, but as long as you're aware and you know how to fix it, it should be okay. Yes. Miss May behind me just said it's good to be aware, but not necessarily obsessed. I liked that take. So, that is our week. Did that help you, Story? Let's see what we have. Well, how do I go back to this one? I did it all by myself. The recommendation are to set or how to know your astro chart. Okay, yeah. If you go to AstroSeek, let me get you the link, hun. I'll get you the link. This one's a free resource that's really well regarded. So, Majid, if you punch in your date, time, and your birth city, that should pull up a chart and it will give you the basics of what you're looking for. If there's anything in particular that you're interested in that it doesn't elaborate on, you can usually just kind of do a deep dive in your own time. I'm also here if you have any questions. I might not know immediately, but it's something that I can look up. Yes. Miss May is correct in the background. I do offer interpretations if you tell me what you want to look at in the commissions part of the Ko-fi, and I am also available on the Discord for quick questions. I'm also always in chat, right? So you can also just ask me there if you have any like quick questions that I can answer in YouTube's minimal character count. So you are welcome, Story. So I wanted I wanted everybody to bring me your questions. I have to do one more thing. What was that with the... What was I doing with the channel? Uh-huh. We're gonna switch it to art just so that... Purple button update. All of the buttons are purple on this. Okay, now we go back to chat. Truth is, you don't know the exact date of your birthday. Ooh, if you don't have the time, like the exact time, as long as you know obviously the day, then you can, ooh, my little thing. If you don't know the exact time, that is okay. Even with just knowing the date, you can still find out quite a lot. So at least punch in your birthday, like your birthday and the birth year. And if you can know the place, you can still get a good idea of what the planets were doing. You might not know which houses or what, but that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, and if one of your parents or anybody has ever said, oh, you were born in the morning or in the evening or, you know, after dinner or something, you can guesstimate. And it might not be exact, but it can at least get you kind of close. Okay, I have switched over to art on the Twitch side, but we will be doing something a little bit different. I just didn't want people to get confused with astrology right now. I'm happy to keep answering questions, but I also wanted to try something. If you give me just 1 minute to fix something on my end. Yeah, birth certificate would be the way to go, or look it up in the records. But if you know the day of and not the time part of the date, that is okay. But yeah, birth certificate's gonna be your best bet. So, let's roll for Sen. I didn't forget. Hooray! We've got some snake eyes. We've got some threes. We've got more threes, but let's see. We got a full house. Seems like a pretty alright week. So, I asked everybody before we got going in Discord to bring me questions. We do have some room for art that we can do here in a little bit. Hi, Sirhan. Welcome, welcome. We were just talking about astrology. After the full moon on the 1st, it kind of gets... There's a couple of pinch points, like Pluto goes retrograde on the 6th, but this week should be pretty good. Just be careful to think before you speak. October is the month of your birth. There's a lot that could change in a whole month. But if you know the year, you can at least find out what some of the outer planets might have been doing. Majid, if you want, I'm going to give you an email for Majid. If you email me as much as you know, we can look it up and I can see what I can figure out, okay? Hey, Rue! So if y'all email me, Majid, send me what you know, and we can talk about it a little bit more. Rue, we were talking about astrology, and then I'm going to be doing something fun here in just a minute, but know that after the full moon that was on the 1st, this week should be pretty okay for things. Pluto is going to go retrograde on the 6th, but that will be alright. Just might make you a little more introspective, and there are a couple of aspects later on this week that might make you a little bit impatient. So just be careful, and you will be alright. Sounds good, yeah. Now, I got my favorite book series. Last night I got really mad at the tarot cards because that's what I do. And so I pulled out a book and I just tried bibliomancy. So I've got my favorite book series right here. It's very tactile. I want people to ask me a question, give me time, I will find a sentence, and you will have to figure out how it applies. It's right up there in the chat, Majid. LadyLappineTarot@gmail. So take the channel name and then add tarot to the end of it at Gmail. That'll get you to Miss May, who can then send it over to me. So I want someone to ask me a question, go slow, because I don't have the little question counter thing, and I want to find a sentence, and then you can think about how it applies. Nah, that's not that big. This is way more casual than that. I want you to pick out which book you want me to ask it from, too. Yeah! I actually figured out something really important for Miss May last night.
Yeah, it was really nice.
So, I wanted to try it. It did not help me at all with my problems, but I solved a mystery.
Like, fucking.
Yes. So, ask me a question, any question. And then pick a book. And then I will open it to where it feels correct, and I will find something. And I will read to you 1 or 2 sentences. And then you can figure out how it applies. Our gifts are always for others. Ain't that the truth, Jay? Our gifts are always for others. So last night, Miss May asked me about a creature that she has been both fascinated by and scared of for years that told her that it was her. And then we found out that indeed, it is indeed her, but on like a different timeline or a different like parallel universe kind of thing. It was very cool. So somebody gotta come up with a question. It can be a joke question, that's fine. But ask your question and pick your book. How detailed should the questions be? As detailed as you want them, Sen. Just know that if you're asking about, like, time and place, like, You can ask them as detailed as you want them to be. I cannot guarantee that the answer will be equally detailed. How's that? So this is my favorite series. It's about two people living in some kind of parallel universe. The question is, am I finally free? Which one do you want me to ask? I'm missing the first one. Yeah, the first one is just Griffin and Sabine. Did I not grab it, or is it? It might be in, oh, it might be in one of the suitcases at your parents' house.
Oh, you put.
Yeah, because they're my favorite.
Yeah, we put.
Which one you feel like asking it to? Okay. We'll do Morningstar. That feels very appropriate. Ruben.
Yeah, for am I finally free?
Let's see. And even if it doesn't resonate, you can see really pretty art. Then one day the possibility dawned on me that our dreams were not separate but joined. That maybe we do not have dreams. Dreams have us. It frightened me, but a truth rarely remains a threat for long and eventually... Nope, sorry. It frightened me, but a truth rarely remains a threat for long, and eventually the idea seemed to become almost reassuring. So think about that, Doji. See how it feels. You ask about a past life. Sure. I don't see why not. Which book do you want to ask through? We have Morningstar, we have Alexandria, we have the Griffin, and the Pharaoh's Gate. Which one do you want to ask? Pick any by intuition. Okay.
Yeah, you have to be picking.
I guess, but if something calls to them, I feel like they should be able to answer or ask. Past life. Now, if this doesn't resonate, this is just me playing and having an experience, but you can think about it. Let's see what we have. Past life might have been lovesick. I pretend not to be infatuated even though my sanity is threatened and my surroundings lose their meaning and significance. Often I'm disoriented, and yesterday I dropped and dented a valuable amulet. Loving you is not easy, yet I would not exchange these feelings for the secrets of eternity. I'm very much in love with you. I want to be with you right now. I want it above anything else. Sounds like somebody had a relationship. So I'll read it for you again, Rue. It said, I pretend not to be infatuated even though my sanity is threatened and my surroundings lose their meaning and significance. Often I'm disoriented, and yesterday I dropped and dented a valuable amulet. Loving you is not easy, yet I would not change these feelings for the secrets of eternity. I'm very much in love with you. I want to be with you right now. I want it above anything else. From the Pharaoh's Gate, I want a hint about something currently in my unconscious. Alrighty. Saru, it sounds like somebody in your past life was very, very in love with somebody else. Okay, I'll find something else for you, Che, but first of all, it is extremely funny because it says you know what you're doing. But we'll find something else too. But it says, Griffin, I am coming. Griffin is one of the main characters. I will see you soon, noon tomorrow, at the gate. Frelati will surely know now our final destination, so we'll have no time to delay. If we are to succeed, please do not be late. Trust me. It feels very much like that this is how we do it being stuck in your head. But let's do one more thing. Hey, hold on. I saw Gaudi's unfinished monument to the heavens. Usually cathedrals make me think of something you said about fearful symmetry. When I look upon their edifices, I feel like they are trying to crush my spirit. But the way Gaudi's basilica climbs, each upward movement a brilliant battle won against gravity, I can think only of hope and possibility. Hey, at least it's consistent, Jay. Yeah, that one did feel like something. Your question is how far you can wander before you're doomed. That's deep, but okay. Sen, which book do you want? We have Alexandria, Morningstar, Pharaoh's Gate, or the Griffin. Took a while to re-listen and think about it, but yeah, it does make sense. Of course, you're welcome, Rue. As a reminder to our usual tarot people, we do tarot on Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. I'm here for art, astrology, and I guess bibliomancy sometimes on Sunday mornings. How far do you wander before your doom? The one on the left, Alexandria. Sure, that sounds fine. Sen, I'm perfectly fine. No one seems to be able to explain why the alarm failed to sound, but if the incident was engineered by Frelati, who is the villain, I can promise you that I have absolutely no intention of being influenced by his or anyone else's fear-mongering. Let's see, we have a traumatic relationship on this page. I met a man who told me he loved me. I didn't believe him, but I was lonely, and I found him attractive. Soon after, he began to treat me like I belonged to him. I objected. However, he was very skilled at assessing my weaknesses, and he was an expert at manipulating me through my self-doubts. He became aggressively controlling, and it took all of my willpower to break his hold over me. When I finally tore myself away, he tried to come after me, but I left the country before he could hurt me. It was after that traumatic relationship that my visions became so much more lucid. I haven't told you this because I felt ashamed that I allowed it to happen to me. So, I think you are not doomed regarding how far you can wander. I think that the doom is self-imposed. Huh?
The doom is fear-mongering. You can't wander far enough.
Yeah. What May said in the background, the doom is fear-mongering. That is people wanting you to be afraid. You cannot wander far enough to actually ever be doomed. You reject this energy? Yeah? See? There you go. Then you can't be doomed. You're fine. It's all in your head and or from society, it sounds like. Do what you need to do. You are human. And everyone else is too, despite them thinking that they're not. Or despite thinking that they know everybody makes mistakes. So, wander away, my dear. Anybody else? What we got? Another shrimp check.
What do I?
Oh, what does May need to know? Which book do you want? Barrow's Gate. What do you need to know? I'm doing this one for May.
What do I need to do?
What do you need to do? Okay, what do you need to do? Hold on. I think I know which part. Okay. What May needs to do. I feel like I am only now coming into full existence. It's as if my real self has been secretly growing within. It's a strange evolution, sometimes a warm unfolding, at other times a painful crunching of bone and twitching of muscle. When I accepted that you were real and not a figment of my imagination, I broke free from the spectral fears that have gripped me since childhood. I believe we all have it within us to choose our own rebirth, but maybe we first need to believe that we are not alone. You have made me believe that. Your eyes have made me immortal. There you go. Some lines reflecting my difficult experience with a certain someone. Certainly, my dear. Do you have a book preference, or is it dealer's choice? Maybe a few seconds. An email notification saying, Lady Lapine just went live on Twitch. Yeah, I know, I'm here. I'm gonna say Alexandria story. Unless you hit enter while I'm saying this. Let's see what we got. Did I open this one already? Sorry, this is my cat. And that's my cat saying hello. This is where I got her name. My last cat. Sorry. Hang on. Oh, that got me. What else but Alexandria for a story? That is fair. Alright, story. We have, it is true that I'm within you, but you needn't be concerned. I haven't taken you over. Waggle your arms and legs. See? They still work. Call me what you like. Muse, cognate, guardian. It doesn't matter. You'll soon have your hands more than full elsewhere. Hopefully that helps. That sounds that one even I got, and sometimes I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just reading a sentence, y'all can figure it out. But I got that one. And it is fun. I'm glad you like it. I like this series a lot. There's 3 more that they're in another suitcase still waiting to get down here. But it's a really pretty series. I highly recommend it. It's called, the first one is called Griffin and Sabine. It's by Nick Bantock, and it's very pretty. Is Isabella significant to you, Rue? Do you have one question per person? Nah, this is just for fun. I will obviously always, since this is mine and May's, part of mine and May's jobs, accept tips, but for now, nah, this is just us having a good time, right? If I need to make a separate bibliomancy stream that takes off, we can talk about it later. But for now, it's just for fun. It'd certainly be interesting. Different. I don't see much bibliomancy, but I'm not looking. Yeah, a different book a day. They seemed perfectly suited. So, go ahead and ask me something else if you want, Sid. That was, in fact, surprisingly coherent, wasn't it, story? Ah, Isabella's significant and your favorite character. Yeah. I hear a lot of people doing it with, like, the Bible and stuff, but I don't want to do that. I figured my favorite series was pretty and arty enough for it. What sentence sums up your life right now? Which book do you want, hun? It is 11:11 where I am, guys. Make your wishes. Is it your favorite character from this series, Rue, or is it a different series? I can choose? Okay. Do Pharaohs. It's really pretty story. It's a whole story told through letters, but like they have, you've seen me, I've been like pulling them out of actual envelopes and stuff. Yeah, you can ask another one, Rue. A different series, okay. Yeah, if you're having fun and if it's resonating and stuff, that's totally fine. Alright, son. I have started to run over in my mind all that has happened. When you and I agreed to meet at the Pharaoh's Gate, neither of us questioned why. Was that not odd? It was as if we instinctively knew that it was the correct place. But yeah, one of my aunts got me into this series a long time ago. There's 3 more that start, but I have it in a suitcase still in the US, so I'm still waiting on that to get to me. But I have the final 4, apparently. So. Too sweet story. One specific past life with the person that you have in your mind. Alright, do I have dealer's choice on the book, Rue, or is there one in particular you want me to look at? Check to make sure that the coffee jazz is still going in the background. Oh, it paused. I'm just gonna start it over. If I right click on the play button. Ah, they have a loop feature in itself now! Golly, I remember when it was YouTubeRepeat.com. Yep. My intuition, and since I am the reader, alright. Let's do well, we just did Alexandria. Look at Griffin. Past life with somebody that Rue has in mind. Oh, here's an Isabella. We've got another little love message. I miss you. I love your eyes and your ever so slightly pointy ears. I miss everything about you. I even miss your cat making those funny noises under the bed. Somebody was extremely in love, Rue. That's the second, like, sappy one that I found. Happy to do a couple more, and then if we want to keep going, we can, or I can you please have a reading. Yes, Jack, I am doing a bibliomancy kind of thing right now, and it's just mostly for fun, so if it doesn't make sense, that's just the way of the game, but feel free to ask something. If you want, you can pick which book I pull it from, and go right ahead. I will do what I can. So far, it's been going pretty well, though, I think, so. Hey, Pesto! This is Lynn driving. We did our astrology thing. This book about love letters. It is about a relationship that forms, but no, it is not exclusively love. There's a lot of suspense and stuff, too. Mystery. The series is more of a mystery. There's just a love B-plot. Okay, my question would be new love or old friend. Okay, and Jack, do you have a book that you want? We have The Pharaoh's Gate, The Morning Star, Alexandria, or The Griffin. And hey Pesto, I'm playing with bibliomancy, so if you want to ask a question, feel free and pick a book that you want, or it can be dealer's choice. Morning Star, you got it, boss. New love or old friend? I'm feeling right in the back. Says, as you pointed out, the morning star is often ascribed to Venus, but the Egyptian alchemists had another interpretation for the term. The symbol of half sun, half moon was applied to 2 states of existence held together within one body. Later, that wedding of opposites was taken to represent a desire to awaken and break free from the lonely sleep of the conscious mind. The morning star signals the way to a passage between the separate halves of our own being. It is one thing to locate the passage and quite another to pass through it. So, see if that makes sense to you. And if not, we can flip again. Okay, cool. You're very welcome. So I'm finding, guys, that my intuition is less in my brain than I would like it to be, and it tends to be in things that I see. It's something that I've been noticing over the last few months. So people are like, oh, do this guided meditation to meet things, or challenge your guides to give you a word that they don't know, or you don't know, and stuff, and have it actually be a real word, and it's not like, it never flashes in my mind, but then I turn around and I see something, right? And then I had to look it up. Like, this was literally a challenge. It was like, oh, ask your guides to give you a word you don't know, and then I just thought about it, and I thought about it, and I didn't see, or didn't think of anything. And then like 5 minutes after I gave up, I was reading something and I found a word I didn't know. So... Anyway, Pesto, if you have a question, I'm doing some bibliomancy. So you can ask me a question and I will look it up in a book, either of your choosing or dealer's choice. Yeah, but it's so much less cool, Che. Like, some people are like, oh, I just feel it. I just do that. I don't do that. I'm way too, I don't know, like, the elemental balance in my astrology chart, like, just where things are placed is very balanced, but I have learned over, like, the aspects and digging around that I'm extremely air dominant, which is much less feely than a lot of other dominants I'm noticing, so I'm just like, I'll just do things tangible and until let's try bibliomancy. That feels right for an air dominant person, right? So I can do a couple more questions if people want, or I can start doing some art if we have some fun little prompts for me. I don't have anything in particular that I'm working on right now. I've just been kind of taking a few days of fun time. Anybody? Got 6 watching now. The grass is greener and whatnot. Yeah, that's what I assume. I assume that that's how it goes. When I do things, I tend to either see things in dreams that are like inexplicably coherent because my dreams are not generally coherent. Oh yeah, I do the I turn around and I see something. Your cat says hello. Hello, kitty. Meow meow. Is this Bourbon or is this another cat son? You can keep the bibliomancy open as an option, but if no one has any other questions right now, we can play with some watercolor. But I am happy to help, or happy to play with more book questions too. It's been kind of fun, honestly. Bourbon. Pretty boy. I sent you a picture on Discord, Son of Toulouse, this morning. So for reference, everybody, I got up to do, you know, just the morning ritual and stuff, and my cat decided that it was time to lay down for an extended period of time in the bathroom sink. So I looked at him and asked, well, how am I supposed to get my teeth brushed in these times? Pesto had a question? Okay. Did I just miss it? Let me see. It won't let me scroll up. Can someone find Pesto's? Lock above send? Okay. Ah, okay. Pesto. don't see Pesto's question. Will I be able to... Oh, here it is. Will I be able to achieve at least half of the standards I want to meet this year? Pharaoh's Gate. You got it, boss. I did. Alright. Will Pesto be able to achieve at least half of the standards that they want to meet this year? Pharaoh's Gate. Let's see, let's see. Hey, Mary. Not that one. I'm doing some bibliomancy if you want me to pull a question. Okay, Pesto. We have an evil gang of birds attacking somebody, and I landed on. I have to admit that their violent beating was pushing me close to panic. I was sure that their razor beaks and claws would start slicing into my skin. But then, as quickly as they had come, they took flight and spiraled off into the night. So, Pesto, to me that sounds like, yes, you will, but you will have struggles at points. Bibliomancy, Mary, is where you ask me a question, I open to a random page in one of my books that I have picked, and I read a sentence or two, possibly a paragraph, and you can see how it applies to your situation. So I have here four books from one of my favorite series. If you have a question, you can ask it. It can be as silly or as serious as you want it to be, and you can tell me which book or dealer's choice. But yes, Pesto, you will be able to achieve at least half. It will be a struggle, but as long as you push, you will be fine. And breathe. Don't panic. That's the big one. Don't panic. You are so welcome. I hope it's helpful. Yeah, it is cool. So, if and while we're waiting on other bibliomancy kinds of questions, does anybody want anything art-wise? To see anything? Last time I had a bunch of people give me like a keyword in the subject, and then I just kind of put it all together. I waited, I got as many keywords as it took for me to get inspired, and then I made something based off of that. And that was this here jellyfish series. Someone gave me fire and magma, and I got glorbo and florbo and water and something else, and it just kind of clicked to turn into jellyfish. I'm doing something definitely bibliomancy adjacent, Pesto, if not quite that. Bibliomancy plus. It is more than a word though, yes. I'm doing a whole sentence or two. So, y'all drop in your keywords so I can do an art. And or ask me some more book questions. I'm very good at rolling full houses. And they came out great. So, give me some keywords. I wonder if I can show you guys the picture of the cat earlier in the sink. Possibly. Yeah. Let's see. There he is. Hanging out in the sink. Like, how am I supposed to brush my teeth in these conditions? Also, he's looking oddly grown up. Like, he turned 2. Like, he has any business looking like an adult now. Like, I realize he's an adult, but, like, I'm sorry. Any keyword that comes to mind, yeah. Just throw out some stuff. Just and like keep going until I tell you I know what I want to do, basically, right? But I'm gonna let it evoke a picture. And it's his shape. It is definitely his shape. Round. Is that a keyword or is it the cat shape? It is definitely a sink, yes. Longevity. Okay, I've got longevity. Miss May has walked out of the room, so I can't ask her for a keyword right now. Oh, there she is. A keyword. For an art. Flowing. Longevity and flowing. Okay. What else? Ancient or medieval. Okay. Alright. Okay. Or medieval. Flowing. Earth. Okay. A unicorn. I was thinking of a castle standing off in the distance with a moat. Let's look up old castles. This feels like one of those old British abandoned castles up on the hill right above the... Let's see. Let's see. This one's in New York. Who knew? Very fun. Makes me branch out a little bit. So we have flowing, there's water in here. We have longevity, it is ancient and medieval. I don't know if it is necessarily ancient, but it is old, certainly. There is water involved, it is earth on the ground, it is still standing. Ah! I lost the picture. So your fun fact for today is that any city in the UK that ends in Castor or Chester used to have an old Roman military fort in them. Because Castor or Chester means military camp in Latin. So there's your fun fact for today. So, let's see what we got. And there's some trees. The hill is here. That's a little bit lower. And like this. Been on a Roman history kick for the last few months. But I'm usually on a history kick about some era. And I love the history of languages in general. Got this. I like that it's making a little face. I'm just gonna do an outline. This is gonna be a little bit rougher than what I normally do. And then I'll start coloring. I need to learn how to like do watercolor that isn't as meticulous as I tend to do it. Something, learn to let go of control. This is good practice for me. That window is too big. My happiest place of all is the history of the English language, but I will accept the history of any language most of the time, once I know enough of said language to be able to develop the appreciation. Some trees, some happy little trees. Oh, Bob Ross. Bob Ross, the mob boss. No, he's not a mob boss, he's great. Bowing. Maybe I can throw in a little unicorn for some grins in this. I don't know, we'll see. I've been drawing a lot of cats and dogs, but not horses. Maybe draw a horse from memory challenge. Cracked myself up, sorry.
Y'all don't know that meme? I'll look it up.
Yeah. There's an excellent meme. It's called the Draw a Horse from Memory Challenge kind of thing. There's Kafka tried to draw a horse from memory once. Extremely funny. You can see this kind of go down a little bit. This one kind of gets cut off by trees. Trees, trees, trees. I promise it'll make sense in a moment. Trees. And this keeps going down and it goes out. I am using a picture on Wikipedia for reference. And if I have a unicorn, she goes like right here. Draw a horse from memory. Let's go. Not only draw a horse from memory, but draw a horse drinking water from memory. Like, what? A zebra would be generous. Ooh, this is rough. Horses do drink water, in fact, not just zebras. Horses do hydrate, even though they are always looking to dehydrate.
They're always trying so hard. Hydrate.
How's this from a horse from memory, guys? It's just a sketch, but alright, we have our rough sketch.
That looks like a horse.
I got the shape. Let's see what we got. I brought a paper towel in here. Oh, there it is. Let's see what we got. Okay, so. Do a thin layer of some brown. Looks very horse. Thank you. High praise from someone who frequently sends me horse pictures. Well, not frequently, but it has historically happened before. And you may be going, Lynn, this isn't castle shaped or castle colored yet. The answer is yet. I underpaint all the time. Yeah, it does. Mine would look more like a donkey. I mean, that's still vaguely horse-shaped, Sen. Like, give yourself some credit. Like, that's better than Kafka's attempted horse. Like, I need you to look up Kafka's impression. Like, Kafka's horse drawing. It's awful. And by awful, I mean I love it so, so much. Who? Arch.
Just this Kafka horse drawing.
You know, at least he tried. At least he tried.
I think the point is that, like, you know, it to be perfect.
You just need to do it
to look like a horse. Even if it doesn't look like a horse, it still looks like a horse.
You needed it to be recognizably horse.
Yeah.
So, like, if it looked like a donkey, I think you're doing fantastic, Sen. Shrek donkey, that's still pretty recognizably as a donkey and or horse shaped, so you're fine. And like, if you haven't looked at this Kafka picture and you're still berating yourself, I need you to go look at that Kafka picture very badly. I love how I keep just backing up just because I'm turning my head. So with the get it done energy that we have, is anybody doing anything this week? It's a very persistent kind of energy. And anyway, may I say that you can underpaint with watercolor, but I also am completely untrained, so maybe I'm doing it wrong, but yes. Shay came to visit us last night, and we watched a couple of movies. It's not really getting it done, but you know. It was nice. And then earlier, I finished a commission, or at least the bulk of a commission that I'd been wanting to go ahead and just finish. I read somewhere that, you know, Scorpio just wants you to finish something, not start something new. I mean, that is, you know, full moons are a culmination and stuff, so it does make sense. But it's like, cool, I'll just get that done ahead of time then. I'm missing a turret. That's fine. Turret fall down. Had a fight with a Scorpio about that precisely. Oh man. You doing okay, hon? You did give a very foreboding, yeah, I felt it when we started talking about it a little bit, so. You're in the wrong, so you have to be fine. Well, if you need to rant about it, hon, you know where to find me. Tell me if you have anything that you're looking forward to soon. Anybody? Anything good coming up? We had Majid earlier asking or talking about his PhD or their PhD. Anybody else got anything? Not really. We had May Day, everything off on the 1st down here. I don't think there's anything really going on like that this year, or this week. I don't know, do we have any plans this week? No? Very funny, I've been so stressed out about having too much to do at all times. And then suddenly, like, we finally have found, I guess, a business as usual. And it's still a lot, but it's feeling more manageable. Researching Ascended Masters. You haven't making any progress on that? I've been like super busy lately, but not these last few weeks. We had, or last week or so, we had my friend come over. Not yet. We had my friend come over. And we were really busy. And we had been really, really busy before that. And I was tired. I'm getting quite fussy, to be honest. And then suddenly we are here. And I went, oh, I think I've got it. Hopefully your second poll was a little more enlightening, Che. On the bibliomancy thing. I just thought we had to know that they gave you the answer they always gave you too. I don't know. Is the card shuffling that May is doing in the background, is that annoying to everybody, or is that okay? Hmm? Very good. Glad you got something out of it. Watching the mic, I've got it half blocked off. So if y'all are hearing and possibly being bothered by the card shuffling, you let me know. But otherwise, I'm just going to let her keep going. It wouldn't be a Lady Lapine stream if the cards weren't going off in the background, though, I don't think. And do one for me, too? That sounds fine, Sen. If you want to find a book, I can ask a question. I can ask so many questions.
Berlin needs some
I need more...
answers.
I need more to...
It needs answers.
Ren needs answers. It's true. I nearly picked a fight with Miss May's tarot deck yesterday. So I could certainly ask a few things. Yes, I would trust the Mercury dominant, my fellow Mercury dominant. And a Pisces Mercury? You might be perfect for bibliomancy, honestly, Sen. Alright then, you two. My question. Well, I'll give you my question and then you can decide from there. So my question would be, how do I put it? Am I doing what I need to be doing to get to where I want to be, or should I be approaching it differently? And if it is differently, is there any inclination or hint that of what it should be that I should be doing? Which is a mouthful, but I trust you too. Because anytime I pull from... In English we have... Well, I mean, you can also translate the Polish if you want to. I don't know how much you want to deal with it. My answer is always going to be Dracula, though, Sen. Like, those are excellent options, but my answer will obviously be Dracula. Have you met me? Let that dry out a little bit. I'll start adding some green. Oof, that is yellow-green. They did not mislead me. There we go. That's fair. Thank you for checking. Oh, Sim just asked me if I wanted Wuthering Heights, Dracula, or Norwegian Wood. Well, I think you've known me for long enough now to be able to hazard a guess. And then they said that they thought so, but that they would ask. Anyway, so I don't know if any of you have ever wanted to, like, literally start a fight with a tarot deck, but I was there last night. When the battle is over, I shall be burned at the stake and following the churches within their rights. Did y'all both pick out vampire books for me? Okay, here I am. I got the fidgets. Okay. When the battle is over, I shall be burned at the stake, and following the church is within their rights to order a sow such as myself to put my life on the scales. However, they're no doubt loath to send anyone else into the encroachment area, so the command they've given is appropriate. I have no objections nor any complaints. I simply need to win, that is all. Okay, I mean, like, honestly, that does... Okay, sure. Love Wuthering Heights. I need to read it. Dracula's not nearly as good as it could be. There's some work that it needs to do, but I do love anything and everything vampire, and I feel like it was a great way to kickstart things. I also appreciate Dracula far, far more than I do Nosferatu, which I know was like a tribute to Dracula, basically a nice German knockoff, but I feel like as far as like getting the ball rolling on romantic vampires as we know them, Dracula was a good start given the time. And Norwegian book Wood is a book I haven't read that one either. Battle's over, I shall be burned to the stake. Not ideal, but I simply need to win. Okay. I do love the fella from Texas in particular. It's nice to have. It's not the same South, but it is nice to have the Southern representation in a very distinctly British book. British? Conan Doyle, was he British or Scottish? It doesn't matter. That much right now. UK book. Come on, rim. Your torture princess's very fear is the mind killer giving. But also it just makes me wonder why Texas? But it is no secret to anybody who has followed Miss May for a while. Vampires are one of my favorite things. Yeah, there's more demons than vampires. Yeah, you said burnt, and I went, yeah, we're burning. Thank you for appealing to my goth trash side. That's way too bright. Happy little tree. I think for Dracula, the problem is it's not what you expect. If you watched the movie and stuff, right? Like, you walk in and you're like, cool, this is gonna be a vampire story. And, like, it is. But I remember when I read it the first time, I was like, this is not, you know, Dracula TM. This is a guy getting locked in a house and a woman's obsession with trains, and you know, it's not what you're like walking in expecting the first time you read it. But if you've seen, like, if you only know the stereotypes and the movies and such. This is said by Elizabeth de Fanu, a human that was tricked into eating demon flesh to survive, so after all that, her decision was to take a castle for herself and wear a gothic Lolita dress. Fantastic. Sen, will you therefore, instead of lunching with us, please come get breakfast? Please come to breakfast at 8 o'clock, if this be not too early for you. ... I just distinctly remember, yeah, the first time I read Dracula going, what is this? You know, like, they never really talk about, like, it's in a journaling format, and they never really talk, I expected, like, if this be not early for you, you can get away if you are in a hurry by the 10:30 train, which will bring you to Paddington by 2:35. Do not answer this, as I shall take it that if I do not hear, you will come to breakfast. Believe me, your faithful and grateful friend. What? I mean, that is definitely the B plot, is train autism, as we are finding out by pulling the train section. Okay, so my question was, am I doing the right thing? And if not, what do I need to do? So I need to take the 8 o'clock, no, I need to have breakfast at 8 so I can catch the 10:30 train. I do love a train. I'll chew on it. Thank you. That was fun. Too blue. Too blue. Uh-oh. Maybe Dracula's the vibes we got along the way. God. You're so right. And to win. Yes, okay, so I need to take the 10th, I need to have breakfast at 8, take the 10:30 train, and I need to win so that I can own a castle and wear gothic Lolita dresses. Okay. Well, by gothic Lolita dresses too, I could just spin it as wear my historical clothes that I like so much. And to win despite being burned at the stake. I did eat breakfast this morning. I don't usually eat breakfast, no, but... Let's see. And win despite being burned at the stake, I think. I think I already know what that would be talking about, actually. we're talking about. I think actually that makes a lot of sense. So then, I'm in a hurry. Take the 10:30 train, Paddington by 2:35. Come to work. I think it makes sense. Still trying to like articulate it a bit, but hey, where's my Bela Lugosi's dead and Nietzsche crossover of Bela Lugosi's dead and we have killed him?
Nietzsche Joe?
Nietzsche? Friedrich.
Oh.
God is dead and we have killed him. Bela Lugosi's dead and we have killed him.
I'm still stuck on the joke on this like I'm so She's dead and Nietzsche Joe?
Frederick Nietzsche Joe.
Frederick Nietzsche Joe!
Friedrich Nietzsche Joe. Oh no. What have I done? I was proud of Bela Lugosi's dead and we have killed him, and here you go, just blowing me out of the water.
I'm sorry.
That's alright. The painting looks good already. Thank you, dear. I'm trying to teach myself a little bit more on just getting on with it and not getting so lost in the details. Obviously, for things like commissions and stuff, it's different. But with the little bit of free time I've had, I've been trying very hard to just a little painting a day. So on my Instagram, I did a Peanuts crossover with Lillian and Miss May. And then I did a painting about getting to go to Star School. I was very pleased with. Friedrich Nietzsche Joe. Now what I need is our dear Dietrich, the flight attendant, to say Friedrich Nietzsche Joe, like he said Spider-Man. So we were flying somewhere. This was a long time ago, but we were flying somewhere. And our flight attendant, one of them, was just this gorgeous man who smelled wonderful. And I don't say gorgeous slightly, since, you know, being one of the resident lesbians on the channel. And, but like, flawless, no notes. And he smelled wonderful. And had just this deep baritone voice. No, it was bass. He had a bass voice. And one of the kids, lost their Spider-Man toy. So one of the flight attendants was like, whoever lost their Spider-Man toy, you know, we have it, it's safe, we have it. Come get it. And he just comes up, you can hear him. He picks up the little phone to talk, and he just chuckles and goes, Spider-Man. And that's it, that's the whole thing. That's the whole story. And every now and again, May and I will just look at each other and go, Spider-Man. And now I just need him to come in and say Friedrich Nietzsche Joe for me. I feel like that would be good. Healing, yes. Man, just saying Spider-Man lives rent-free in our heads. How's your spine today? I love how I keep just flashing in and out. Sorry about that, guys. That's the coffee shop background music. May have just kind of picked it out at random. Also because I keep forgetting to find my own music. Yeah, Anne Rice is one of my heroes. I like the 94 adaptation, but the rest of them, yeah, they are pretty bad movies. I grew up on the one with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, though, and it's extremely by the book. What was it? Have you seen the new series, Story? I think have you fallen back in that? I don't know if you've fallen back in the stream on accident, but if you're hearing this, the new series holds up a lot. They've made a few changes that you have to be willing to roll with, and I do have opinions about a couple, but I, on the whole, really like it. The third season should be coming out, and it's about to break into the Vampire Lestat. We're out of Interview and into Lestat. They've done a strange blend of a bunch of different books, but it makes sense from like a storytelling perspective. It's not like the events in the present time are blended, but they've added some of the elements from some of the other books. And I do very much enjoy Sam Reed's Lestat. And Louis with a New Orleans accent is very, very sweet. Instead of just a lightly French one. The other movies they made, though, were pretty god-awful. Just the first one. Jake Raid. Hello, hello! We were doing astrology earlier. Hi, Jake! And today we are doing art and some hello, everybody! Art and bibliomancy. I have been playing with a few books of mine. So if we need to take an art break and let my layers dry up a little bit, I am happy to answer any bibliomancy questions you may have, where you pick a book out of the 4 that I have chosen, and I will pick up a random page and read you a couple of sentences from it, and y'all can figure out how it applies to your question. How you doing, Jake? How is everybody else doing as well? It's good to see you, good to have you. I am not the most common driver, in this one. You usually find me in chat as one of the resident mods. I am Lil Lynn. Normally, the driver of this channel is Lady Lapine. She does tarot and such. I do astrology, and today I was playing with some bibliomancy. On Sundays, I'll come on, if we don't already have something going on, and talk about the upcoming week in the stars. For those of y'all who are curious, the upcoming week in the stars is fairly calm, or at least more of the same, rather than perhaps calm. Yes, this is Lynn. This is the cat avatar that we mentioned that May made for me. Told you. You can find me on Sundays. This year be good or bad for me. Yeah, give me 1 second. Away. Alright, Umbra. You've got your choice of books. I have 4 here. Does anyone in particular call you? Or is it a dealer's choice? We have the Pharaoh's Gate, the Morning Star, Alexandria, or the Griffin. 3, Alexandria. Wait, okay, I'm waiting. What do you got? Dealer's choice. Okay, let's stick with Alexandria. And this is from one of my favorite series. These are books. It's the Griffin and Sabine series by Nick Bantic. And it's a really pretty series about some correspondences. Let's see. Streaming with a Japanese. Ooh, that's fun. How did it go? Okay. This one makes more sense. Alright, Umbra. Congratulations, my love. You truly deserve the honor. Do tell me about the new dig. Bad news, I'm afraid I shouldn't have raised our hopes about me coming. There are no cheap flights available. And on top of that, I've been asked by my professor to help him finish his paper on, of all things, the origin of sphinxes. So, good year or a bad year? It sounds like it will be fine, right? We did start off with a congratulations, but it sounds to me, personally, like you might have some hiccups along the way. Unexpected tasks that might creep up. But interpret that as you will, Umbra. There might be a different thing that you understand from it. It's very chaotic because of the mistranslations. Yeah, I bet. Anybody else have a bibliomancy question? We have 4 books here from one of my favorite series. Happy to answer questions. You can pick your own book, or it can be dealer's choice. We have Pharaoh's Gate, Morning Star, Griffin, or Alexandria. Did y'all make something interesting with the knitting artist, chick? Yeah, you're welcome. For those of you who haven't been here before, Lady Lapine, on not Sundays when I'm driving, Lady Lapine will do tarot readings, 1 free question up to 30. On Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. After the 30 questions are up, ticket questions will be $1. And then on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, on Twitch, the same channel, but on YouTube, Lady Lapine Art, she has art streams. So, come hang out. Morningstar, want to ask how my freelance artist work will go in the near future. You got it. And if the bibliomancy takes off, maybe I'll just make a bibliomancy spot. I don't know. Ooh, That's exciting. So as freelance artist work will go in the future. To imagine that we understand the reason behind everything that transpires would be a misconception, but our viewpoint certainly gives a different perspective. For example, we can tell you that in the darkness of the chamber you touched the morning star. We can also surmise that Frolati, who is the villain, is exasperated by the elusiveness of his goal. He believes that Griffin and I have helped to stir the edge of waking a wisdom long buried in the sands. He thought the scripture would point directly to that place of concealed knowledge, but he can find no clue within the figures to guide him. He suspects that through me you might be able to decipher that which is beyond him. You should do nothing. After all, you cannot reveal that which you do not know, can you? So, how your freelance artist work will go in the future. It sounds great, but you might not quite understand why. Or there might be something, an element of luck in it that's a little bit unexplainable. That is a lot of big words to you. Alright, let's see. I'm happy to explain them if you let me know which ones you want. So to imagine that we understand the reason behind everything that transpires would be a misconception. But our viewpoint certainly gives a different perspective. So it's hard to imagine that we can understand that there is a reason behind everything, but it sounds like here, honestly, you might be able to figure out why. For example, we can tell you that in the darkness of the chamber, you touched the morning star. So they crept into somewhere, a chamber, which is a big dark room. Usually, if you hear the word torture chamber, it's like in a basement, and they put people there and they torture them. You touched the morning star. I think that's an artifact. One of the main artifacts in the story. We can also surmise, so we can also guess, that Frolati is exasperated by the elusiveness of his goal. Frolati is annoyed at how hard it is to get to his goal. He believes that Griffin and I have helped to stir the edge of waking a wisdom long buried in the stands. So they're about to discover something. He thought the sculpture would point directly to that place of concealed knowledge, but he can find no clue within the figures to guide him. So the morning star is a sculpture, and he thought that they would give him ideas, but he can't find anything, and he's annoyed about it. He suspects that through me, you might be able to decipher that which is beyond him. So he expects that whoever it is, Matthew, will be able to figure it out through Sabine, who is writing this. So Matthew should do nothing, because Frolati is the bad guy, and we don't want him to find anything out. So you cannot reveal that which you do not know, can you? Yeah, you're welcome. So take that, ponder it, and apply it to your freelance artist work. To me, it sounds like you'll do great, but there might be some elements of luck and or, you know, I'm not sure this worked out, or I'm not sure why this worked out kind of thing to it, right? Anybody else? It's 1, 2, 3, 4 in my time zone. Make a wish. And you can ask more than one question if you want to. This is much more casual than the tarot can be right now. What's your first language, Dick? I'm curious now. And you don't have to tell me if you don't want to. Ah, okay. Very cool. Anybody else before I go back to art and hanging out? Anybody again before I go back to art and hanging out? Need to go to sleep, but hope to catch another stream soon. Yeah, Umber, come by anytime. Get some rest. We'll see you around. I'm here on Sundays, and Miss May, Lady Lapine, is around most of the other times. And you can find me in chat. Have a good night. Thank you for stopping by. Y'all think about it. If the spirit moves you, we can do it. Another question. Happy to pull it all out. I've been painting a picture of a castle on a hill based off of some word prompts that I got earlier. So what I do, at least for streams when I'm not already working on something, is I'll have people throw a bunch of keywords at me until I get an idea. And then when I get an idea, I'll paint something based off of that. So this was, like, magma and water, and I think Doji gave me Glorbo Florbo, and I was like, I guess that's jellyfish. The mouse. Thank you. He's the love rat clown. That's a long story. But, let's see. Here he is. He never got a formal name, so I'm open to suggestions. But Miss May does a bunch of digital art. I cannot stand digital programs. They are entirely too complicated for me. And by that, I mean I simply do not want to learn them. And so I paint or I draw. And so today's keywords were like longevity and eternal and earth and water and some other things, and it sounded like a castle on the hill. And then Miss May suggested in the background unicorns too, so there's a rough sketch of a unicorn. Unfortunately, I think this might take me longer than the jellyfish did, but that's okay. Just kind of rolling with it. How's your weekend, Benjik? We had a full moon that was either a lot or nothing, depending on the person. Movie into your new studio. Oh, congratulations. Is it an upgrade? Ah, a lateral move. Well, I hope it's good. Haven't had a studio before this. Ah, okay. So is it a new, like, studio apartment or studio in which to work and do your freelance stuff? Ooh. Art studio. That's so cool. We haven't had one of those either. Keep us posted, that sounds exciting. Thank you. Do you want to see him in real life? If I can get him, he's just up there. On a shelf. Yes, alright. I love him because his legs are 8 miles long. Hang on. Miss May down, pardon the wiggles. We're going on a travel. We're shaking it up, shaking things up. And that was the chair. You like the eyes a lot? Yeah, isn't he cute? So let me see if I can. Ooh. There we go. There we go. Alright. So, he needs some work. He's a little bit worse for wear, but he's a doorstop. So he's weighted down here. His little butt. And he sits upright. Well, mostly. And so he's all cute, and he's about this big. You know, here's my hands for scale. And then his legs just keep going and going and going. All the way down there. So, huge little personality in a little guy. Yes, he's quite large. Miss May's model is comparable in size, but her legs are much longer, shorter. There we go. I'll make the chair not make a weird noise again. And here's Miss May. This is Miss May in real life too. Haunted doll sleeping. no, they're pretty big. We found Miss May first at a thrift store, secondhand store. And I picked her up out of the bin, and I said, Lady Lapine, this is you, but as a rabbit. And so she came home with us. Per the lore, turned out to be haunted. But then the next time we went to that same thrift store, I found little Lynn, the kitty cat. He is extremely well loved. He needs some felt fixins. I've already patched up one spot on him because I had the means. There used to be a little white patch right here that I've patched up with a little piece of ribbon I had, but he needs some help right here. And then his back, God love him, needs a lot of work. So I'll find some black felt or something at some point. But yeah, so those are the two origins. And then I like to do art and stuff, as you can tell, also. So I have a few paintings of him. My icon that I use on my account is a watercolor that I did of him, as well as a few other things that I've been posting to Instagram recently. Let me see. Here is my Instagram, should folks be interested in the art. Thank you. May and I too are trying to get some freelance artistry stuff up off the ground, so if you have any valuable insight, I'm happy to share notes. I know that Instagram's not the best place, but it's at least a good place to like have a portfolio going at least. Oh, art studio. That's super exciting. Yes. Social media is hard. Self-advertisement? Absolutely not. What do you mean I have to... No, I can't do that. Yeah, that's me all of the time. It annoys Miss May so much. So for a recap on the stars, for those who have been just in and out and or just need the reminder, just to kind of fill in some silence. Should be a fairly calm week, a bit of a break after that full moon. But there are pockets of frustration and impatience towards the middle of the week. If you can channel them correctly, they should be good for like mental, cerebral things like research or getting like tasks done that you've been needing to do. I could see for you, Jick, it could be like settling into the studio. We had a guy in earlier. He's working on a PhD. That would be really good to work on, like some research for that PhD. Things like that. Brainy things. Pluto's making a lot of good placements relative. To those topics. To look in like the Aries, the Aquarius, the Taurus. Let me see. There's Mercury. Oh, and the Cancer parts of your chart for all of the details. Because what house, which place is in, will affect how it affects you. We're supposed to paint a horse in all of this. Well, a horse, I mean a unicorn, but... Let's see. We were talking earlier about the painting of the horse that Kafka did from memory, and how this feels a little bit like that. Kafka. We're talking about bibliomancy. I guess if I need to have a discussion point. Anybody read any good books lately? Or do you have any book recommendations for bibliomancy? That could be fun. What do you think, Miss May? What sounds like a good bibliomancy book?
The book people have, such as it has so many different, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Just get Grimm's fairy tales. Edgar Allan Poe. Maybe. If you need to get down to the bottom of something. If you wanted to. Jit got their very first art studio.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
Isn't it? They moved in this weekend. And they did a knitting stream with the Japanese knitter. And it was apparently very difficult because they had to use a translating thing, and there was a lot of miscommunications. But
Oh no!
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it? I made some pretty cool friends. There you go, bug. You bugging?
I know.
Mm-hmm. I don't think so. I think you'd have to be closer. Miss May only knows the extreme basics of knitting. Same here. I thought it'd be good to learn. It has something to do with my hands. And then I learned how to do it and never did it. I got the fidgety hands. They were very excited to see the cat that we mentioned. Little Lynn's model. We do make cool friends. I'm a little quiet today, but it's my first Astrology. Yeah. Well, normally I can keep a conversation up, but I worry that our dear story got lost in the past on the stream. So we're trying to talk about vampires. That's alright. Oh, story getting lost in chat. Sad. All caught up? Okay. I just remember a story one time you had gotten lost back in the past because it just simply lost the live tracker, so I was like, oh no, story, come back. That is simply too much gray, my dear. There we go. What are our plans for the day? Excellent question. Like I said, we were so run ragged up until my friend came down, and then after she headed back, it has been oddly quiet. I know that Stephanie wants a birth chart reading from me, so I'd like to try to work on that. I have a little more art for that game that I can do as an option, but it is not obligatory like getting the cover done was. Maybe I could finish this. I don't know right now. And it's strange to not know. Not used to that. Like, I'll take it. Apparently I have to figure out what the 10:30 train is and if I need to go eat breakfast with Dracula first. Was it Dracula or was that another person talking? I don't remember. What about y'all? Anything good going on today, this week? I know time zones are a thing and it's getting late for some. Well, not necessarily late, but evening. Friend jumps me to play Vampire Survivors. Heck yeah. How you doing, sugar? Did you win? Did you survive? I picked a thing today that you might like actually a lot. How are Kitty and friends? We are doing fine. We went through the stars. Stars say this week should be fairly easy. There might be some pinch points for impatience and some temper flare-ups, but as long as you mind what you say, it should be okay. The first couple of weeks of May are pretty restful, which is nice after everything that's been going on with like Gemini going into Uranus and the full moon and whatnot. So we are doing okay. I earlier brought some books, which might still be in the corner of the camera, I don't know. but I brought some books and we were playing with bibliomancy, so if you have a question you would like to ask Nick, I can pull those back out. And right now my prompt was Earth, longevity, flowing, and I think that was it. Ancient, yes. So I'm painting an old castle somewhere in the UK. It's not telling me where. Because that's what all of those keywords made me think of. So I can pull those out if you're interested. Or if anybody else would like to ask anything else, since it's just a small little group. When was my last sip of water? Good question. I had a little bit this morning, actually. I have been sipping on coffee since then. I can also ask the books too, Water, if you would like. Because I've been playing with some bibliomancy stuff today. The Bible can be used. Yeah, we were just talking about that before you got here, Nick, that the Bible, since it has so many stories to it, it could make sense to be used as a bibliomancy source. But here, let me see. My juice is in the fridge. A glass of water. When was your last sip of water? We have 4 books from one of my favorite series. The first 3 are still in a suitcase back in the States. But we have 4 books here. If you would like to ask a question, you certainly may. We are at time, I guess, so I guess I can stop painting. Got caffeine and wisdom, now add water. You're so right. This Godfellow really disliked adultery, yeah. Is it? Oh. Not done. Anyway, so here's where we're at with the picture. May just looked over and said it was gorgeous. I don't see it, but I appreciate it. You seriously asking me that question? Yeah! Oh, how the turntables. You went to... Yeah. Until we meet again, stay hydrated. Absolutely. I will see you later, Water. It was good to see you. I went to church today, so the Bible was read to me. Didn't particularly enjoy it. Yeah, they pick some choices when they read the Bible to you. So, Nick, my dear, you will also probably like the way that these books are set up, so do ask me a question. It can be of anything, and then we will pick a book if you are so inclined. And we can do a couple more questions before we head out. You stole my things, became God. Oh man, I just now saw that about your game. That's a bummer. Pick your poison.
What?
Oh, just giving him one last chance for any more questions. And if it takes off well enough, I can start a little... We can figure out a bibliomancy slot or something, maybe. What is the meaning of life? The blue book, obviously. You got it, boss. It's actually red. The side was deceptive. Alright. Had a wonderful time he streamed it. Alright, Nick, what is the meaning of life? What if Griffin did create Sabine? And for that matter, what if you and I are creations of his imagination? I've been turning over the circular way in which much that happened to them is happening to us. And I started thinking that it would be so easy to become unraveled by their unreliable reality. Of course, I don't believe we are invented, unless it's by ourselves. But you can see what waiting for you does to me. If truth be told, I can focus properly on nothing but the rhythm of your body moving towards me. I can't paint, and even the artifacts that have for so many years enraptured me cannot hold my attention. All I can do is love you. Do fishies in the deep, deep sea have a good sense of humor? Let's find out. Let's ask the griffin. The griffin was the blue one, Nick. Haha! Get tricked. Fishies in the deep, deep sea have a good sense of humor. Category, understood book, yes. Ah, this one comes with extra stuff. It has a little bookmark. And by that I mean a business card. I love the art on this thing so much. It's so pretty. Let's see, do fishies in the deep, deep sea have a good sense of humor? The package is being held at the old ice electricity supply company building. Don't worry, it doesn't contain anything illegal. It seems like a dry sense of humor to me. Reality is fake, category error. Yep. I knew you would understand. I'll do one more before we wrap it up for the day, if anybody should have anything. And since this is just for fun, it can be somebody else who has already asked. Oddly hypocritical of fish to have a dry sense of humor. They have to have a dry something somewhere, right? Maybe the electric eels are to blame. Could be. Could be. Alright. While we're waiting on a thing, just let's take a moment to appreciate the art in this book series. I love it so much. Is time a real concept? One of the 4 books. I mean, that's a loaded question for this series. Let's find out. This is the one that I just had open. Time a real concept. I had a vision a few hours ago that's left me with an insistent, lingering question. Dusk, my hands are bound and I am standing on one leg. Around my knees, fireflies swirl. The sky is a bruised purple and saffron. A distant hilltop cracks open like a hatching egg, and from it emerges a beak. Oh, a what? Nope, an egg from a teak-skinned baboon. The wing-footed creature glides down the spiral path to where I'm standing. Under his left arm nestles a globe. When he reaches me, he passes right through my body as though I were not there, and I'm left not knowing whether I should follow him or climb the hill from where he came. Am I meant to go back or forward? So there you go. Is time a real concept? She was literally describing a dream. Alrighty, my loves. We have our quick painting for today. I'll probably add a little bit more to it. Maybe eventually it'll show up on my Instagram and or the Discord. If there is nothing else, behave yourselves this week. Watch what you say, but you can say things, just not recklessly. How do we say? Remember that you are not your first thought. You can have the thought and then take a moment to process it. And then form your words based off of the processing. If you liked the bibliomancy, let us know. I'm happy to either do this way and or thank you. And or I'm bound at the start. The random egg baboon did its own thing. Yeah, and then the baboon like went through the person, right? So it's all like nonsensical. Good catching you. It was good to have you too. If the bibliomancy thing was fun, let me know. We can either do something in the Discord and or I can see about finding time for a slot for this. Otherwise, I will see you later. We will be back tomorrow. On YouTube, Lady Lapine Art will go live in the early afternoon, my time for art. And then in the evening, she will do the usual tarot stream. The horse is conveniently untouched. I did some shading. I'll zoom in on it and show you, son. I was trying to work my way back and then forward. Anyway, I will see y'all later. I will be in the chat for tomorrow's streams. And let me know if you need me. Bye. Oops, I cut off too soon.